Hi, imagine a busy city with tall buildings and factories working hard. It's a picture of human progress, right? But under this shiny surface, climate change is a big problem. This global crisis is hurting our planet, and we must decide whether to choose economic growth or protect our environment. Today, we'll talk about this difficult issue, climate change versus economic growth. We'll see how these two things are connected and how companies play a big role in our future. Companies are here to make money that drives them to do new things, create jobs, and help economy grow. Imagine your life without certain things. No smartphones, no computers, no cars, no delicious food from restaurants. These things make our lives easier and more fun, right? Companies make these things. They hire people to work, they spend money on research, and they invest in new technology. All of this costs money. And where does that money come from? Profits that companies making. Profits help companies grow and improve. When a company makes a profit, it can use that money to hire more people, build better products, and even help the community. This means we get better things to use, more jobs to choose from, and a stronger economy. But in a world with climate change, making money can sometimes hurt the environment. To understand how companies affect climate change, we need to see how they work, from getting materials to making products and sending them out. Every step of a company's work leaves a carbon footprint. Sourcing materials, which can require cutting down forests and mining fossil fuels, releasing millions of tons of carbon dioxide. Manufacturing products, which can involve energy-intensive processes like smelting steel, which emits billions of tons of greenhouse gases, and shipping products around the world, contributing to millions of tons of carbon emissions from transportation. Every step of a company's work leaves a carbon footprint. It's true that if companies stop doing a lot of things, we can make less pollution. But this is not a good way to fix climate change for a long time. During the COVID-19 virus, many businesses slowed down. This made less pollution. But when things went back to normal, the pollution came back too. To fix climate change, we need to find ways to make the economy grow without making more pollution. This means using new and clean ways to make things, using renewable energy, and changing how we do things. This is where the mechanisms called carbon pricing, climate change taxation, and using renewable energy instead of fossil fuels come into play. What are fossil fuels? Fossil fuels are energy sources formed from the remains of ancient plants and animals. They've been trapped underground for millions of years. The three main types of fossil fuels are coal, formed from the remains of ancient plants; oil, formed from the remains of tiny sea creatures; natural gas, mostly made up of methane, a gas produced by the breakdown of organic matter. We use fossil fuels for many things in our lives. Electricity: burning fossil fuels heats water to create steam, which turns turbines to generate electricity. Transportation: cars, trucks, planes, and ships often use gasoline, diesel, or jet fuel made from oil. Heating: many homes and buildings are heated using natural gas or heating oil. Manufacturing: manufacturing fossil fuels are used to power factories and produce various goods. Why are fossil fuels bad for the climate? When we burn fossil fuels, we release a gas called carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. This gas is a greenhouse gas, which means it traps heat from the sun. Over time, the buildup of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere causes the Earth's temperature to rise. This is called global warming. Global warming is causing many problems, including rising sea levels. As the Earth's temperature rises, the ice caps and glaciers melt, causing sea levels to rise. This can lead to coastal flooding and erosion. More extreme weather. Climate change is making storms, droughts, and heat waves more frequent and intense. Changes in ecosystems. Many plants and animals are struggling to adapt to the changing climate, which can lead to habitat loss and species extinction. What can we do? To combat climate change, we must reduce our reliance on fossil fuels and switch to cleaner energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydropower. We can also take steps to conserve energy and reduce our carbon footprint. So why companies play a major role? It's obvious that scale of impact. Companies often have a much larger carbon footprint than individuals. Their operations, from manufacturing to transportation, and contribute significantly to greenhouse gas emissions. Therefore, implementing sustainable practices at the corporate level can have a more substantial impact on reducing overall emissions. Resource allocation. Companies have access to significant resources, including financial capital, technology, and expertise. These resources can be invested in research and development of clean technologies, energy efficient processes, and sustainable materials. This can accelerate the transition to a low carbon economy. Supply chain influence. Companies have considerable influence over their supply chains. By demanding sustainable practices from their suppliers and partners, they can encourage industry-wide changes and reduce emissions throughout the value chain. Policy advocacy. Companies can play a vital role in advocating for policies that support climate action. They can lobby governments for stricter regulations, investments in clean energy infrastructure, and incentives for sustainable practices. Innovation and technology. Companies often drive innovation and technological advancement. By investing in research and development, they can develop new products and processes that reduce emissions and improve energy efficiency. While individual actions can make a difference, companies have the potential to drive systematic change and accelerate the transition to a sustainable future. By taking a leadership role in climate action, companies can not only reduce their own emissions, but also inspire and influence others to follow suit. Carbon pricing. What is carbon pricing? Carbon pricing is a way to make people and companies pay for the pollution they cause. It's like a tax on pollution. How does it work? There are two ways to do carbon pricing. Carbon taxes. The government charges money for each pound of pollution a company or person makes. Trading pollution permits. The government gives companies a certain amount of pollution permits. Companies can buy and sell these permits. If a company makes less pollution, it can sell its extra permits to other companies. Does carbon pricing work? Carbon pricing can work to reduce pollution, but it depends on a few things. How much it costs. If the price is high enough, companies will try to pollute less. How the government uses the money. The government can use the money from carbon pricing to help people and businesses. switch to cleaner ways of doing things. If the economy is doing well, it's easier for companies to change their ways. Carbon pricing is a good idea, but it's not easy. It needs to be done carefully to work well. Another tool, climate change taxation. Climate change taxation is a way to make people and companies pay for the pollution they cause. It's like a tax on pollution. How does it work? When you use things that pollute, like gasoline for your car or electricity from a power plant, you're adding to climate change. With climate change taxation, the government charges you extra money for using these things. This extra money called tax. Why does it help stop pollution? When things cost more, people and companies try to use them less. So if you have to pay more for gasoline, you might drive your car less. If companies have to pay more to use coal to make electricity, they might try to use cleaner energy sources like solar or wind. Which governments that we know are using it, using taxation? Many countries around the world have climate change taxation. Some countries call it a carbon tax, while others call it an emissions trading scheme. Here are a few examples. Sweden. Sweden has a carbon tax on fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. The European Union. Many countries in the European Union use an emissions trading scheme. This means that companies can buy and sell permits to pollute. Canada. Some provinces in Canada have carbon taxes. Climate change taxation is a way to help stop pollution and protect our planet. Climate change is a serious problem that affects everyone. It's caused by the pollution we create when we use fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. Companies are a big part of the problem, but they can also be a big part of the solution. By using cleaner energy sources, reducing waste, and investing in new technologies, companies can help fight climate change. However, it's important to remember that companies are business. They need to make money to stay afloat. So while it's important for companies to be environmentally friendly, they also need to be profitable. The challenge is to find a balance between protecting the environment and ensuring economic growth. This will require cooperation between governments, businesses, such as United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. By working together, we can create a sustainable future for everyone.
Let's move towards a cleaner, healthier Earth together. If you found this useful, hit the like button. Subscribe for more eco-friendly tips and insights. Thanks for watching.